Fed Talk at the PILG. This is Fed Talk at the PILG, a friendly conversation on anything and everything federalism, with our host, Attorney Gwendolyn Pimentel Gana, our special guest, Attorney Michael Henry Yusinko. This podcast is brought to you by Pimentel Institute for Leadership and Governance and Hans Seidel Foundation, Philippines.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to PILG Fed Talk. And we are here today with, of course, our favorite resource person, Attorney Michael Henry Yusinko. No need for introduction, di ba? Kasi you've met him before. Hello, Michael. Do I call you Michael or Panoy?
Whatever name is good. I'm still the same.
Okay, whatever comes out from my mouth na lang. Panoy. Okay, Noy. Oh. Our topic for today is actually on regional governance. It's actually a term that is not often used when we discuss about governance or the kind of government in our country today. So maybe you could tell us, what do you mean by regional governance?
So, tama ka, no? It's hard to pinpoint a technical definition, no? But, just for us, for our discussion or for our listeners, when you talk about regional governance, I suppose what we're talking about here is a level of government somewhere in between, the national level or the central government and local governments, no? In federalism parlance, this would mean the subnational level, no? So, like in Australia, tsaka sa US, meron sila nung federal government and then meron silang state, no? Sa Canada, meron yung province, no? Province sa India, tsaka sa Canada, ang tawag nila province. So, when we talk about regional governance, we're referring to a subnational level of government that is responsible for a significant area or a large territory of the state, which includes smaller political and territorial subdivisions. So ganun yung pagkakaintindi natin when we talk about regional governance.
Okay, but would you consider, example, ang setup natin ngayon, di ba, we have the province, we have cities, we have municipalities, and of course, the smallest, which is the barangay unit. Would you consider that as regional governance? Is that within the context of regional governance?
So, medyo tricky yung situation natin sa Pilipinas, no? Kasi if you just look at the words of the Constitution, no, particularly in Section 1, Article 10, it appears na parang meron tayong regional governance, no? But ang words na ginamit ng Constitution natin is regional autonomy, no? Or autonomous regions. At dalawa lang yun, no? Yung Constitution natin, dalawa lang talaga ang sinasabi niyang autonomous regions, which is yung Cordillera and yung BARM na ngayon. So, to answer your question, no, when you talk about yung political subdivisions in our case, hindi sila, like province for example, hindi siya nagka-qualify really dun sa working definition natin of regional governance. Kasi masyado siyang maliit pa yung province, no? If you compare it, for example, sa mga cities, let's say sa Argentina, maliit pa yung probinsya natin. So, it's not really the regional governance that we are talking about here.
Okay. So, you mentioned earlier on that sa Constitution natin, there are two maybe that can be described as regional units that have their own governance, di ba? Which is the
Yes.
BARM at saka yung Cordilleras.
Yeah.
Oo. But so that's the kind of concept of regional governance that we're actually talking, no? Para siyang in effect, it's like a state unto itself. In effect, di ba?
In a way, yeah. So just let me clarify, no, na yung sinasabi ko kanina refers to autonomous regions, no. And that's the BARM and the Cordillera. But actually yung constitution natin, believe it or not, uh, it actually allows for some kind of regional governance structure, no? And that can be found in, if I'm not mistaken, section 13 of article 10, no, na ang sinasabi pwedeng magbuklod-buklod ang ating local governments uh, for their own good, no, for their own benefit. So ang ibig ko sabihin dito, hindi bago sa sistema natin, even in our constitution, yung konsepto na regional governance. Ang pagkakaiba lang, kung autonomous regions yung dalawa, yung regional governance na konsepto natin, na isa pa, is yung tinatawag nating administrative regions, no? So ang pinakamagandang example diyan is yung MMDA. So the MMDA is a regional governance type of structure, no? Pero hindi siya autonomous, and of course hindi talaga siya nagfa-function in the same way the BARM government would, no? Kasi yung mga LGUs within Metro Manila kanya-kanya pa rin, no? Wala talaga siyang regional government. But yung MMDA, it performs a certain level of regional governance. Yung ano lang, very weak version lang.
So what you're saying therefore is that yung regional governance is an example MMDA. So pwede yung mga local government units can, as you said, come together, buklod-buklod, and decide on how they are going to cooperate with each other or coordinate with each other in providing governance on a certain maybe aspect of governance, diba? As you said, like MMDA, traffic, etc. No,
That's right.
So
that's right.
that's a example of a regional governance. Yes. Now, vis-a-vis autonomy, being an autonomous unit, mas siyempre, mas malawak yung autonomous unit kasi nandun na lahat, ibang klase yun, di ba, na parang you do it, ano. So, what is the, ano ba yan, wait a minute, no, wala tuloy. What are the benefits, actually, of having regional governance in action?
So, kasi these days, no, ngayong panahon natin, yung mga problema na hinaharap natin ngayon as a country, as a people, malawak na, no, very complex. The problems, the issues that we face now, they actually do not respect political boundaries. For example, yung baha. Hindi nangyayari ngayon yung nagbabaha lang sa isang LGU, no? Because of climate change and other issues, other reasons, ang baha ngayon kumakalat na sa iba't ibang probinsya, sa iba't ibang munisipyo. It does not respect political boundaries. And it's not just flood, no? Famine, traffic. Traffic, it's not contained in one LGU only, no? And other existential problems like education and health, hindi yan nalilimitahan lang sa isang LGU, no? So because our problems now are like that, complex, multidimensional, multi-layered, it now requires a more coordinated, more comprehensive approach when it comes to governance. No? And to a certain extent, alam mo, Gwen, alam na natin yan because we have yung tinatawag nating regional development councils. No?
Oo nga.
Kaya lang yun kasi very specific lang yung mandate niya, which is economic development. But if you look at the executive order that created the RDCs, you will have a sense na alam na natin na yung mga problema ng bayan hindi yan kaya ng isang LGU lang tugunan, no? It has to be a collaborative approach, no? That's why yung regional governance na sinasabi natin, it's not actually just being beneficial, no? It's already a necessity. Kasi ang mangyayari nito, for example, sa Metro Manila, nagbabaha sa buong Metro Manila, hindi yan matutugunan lang ng Marikina. Right? Kahit may mga anti-flood projects yung Marikina, that won't be enough to prevent the flooding in the entire Metro Manila. It has to be a collaborative effort by the region, no? by the metropolitan area. So ganun yung benefit actually ng regional governance. It addresses or it updates our local governance structure. Kasi before all of this, nung panahon pa ni Tito Nene, yung local government, pwede na niyang gawin yung mga ma-address yung mga problema noon. No? Because times were simpler then. Pero ngayon kasi, ang laki na ng population natin, no? We are over 110 million, and then we are all bundled in specific areas na kapag nagkaroon na ng mga problema like baha, bagyo, and hindi na kaya ng isang LGU lang. And therefore, kailangan nung mas komprehensibo at sama-sama whole of government approach at the regional level.
So, ano sa tingin mo, Noy, with our present structure of government, diba? Ano ang challenges na facing our attempt to institute this regional governance? Marami ba? Kaya ba?
Medyo mabibigat yung challenges, no? So number one is institutional, no? Kasi ang ating mga, and this is obvious in the RDCs, yung Regional Development Councils, no? Kasi ang mga miyembro ng RDC is yung mga mayor and governors of the region, no? Kaya lang ang mga mayors at governors natin, they operate under the mentality na 3 taon lang ako sa office, no? Kasi nakalagay sa ating saligang batas, 'di ba, na ang termino ng isang local official is 3 years, no? So kapag pumasok ang isang mayor doon sa RDC, ang mentality niya 3 years lang, no? So in a sense, yung perspective ng governance at the regional level ay very short term lang. Very myopic, very parochial, no? Yung kasi kailangan magpakitang gilas agad eh. Hindi niya wala siyang long-term view of development. Sa regional governance kasi ang pinag-uusapan natin dito is long-term eh. Kaya nga siya yung mag-a-address dun sa mga malalaking problema, and therefore long-term yung kanyang perspective. So halimbawa sa agriculture, di ba? Pagdating sa agriculture, ang iniisip natin dapat is ano yung makakabuti sa rehiyon na projects and programs Pero itong mga projects nito, mahaba yung gestation period niya. Hindi yung
Oo nga.
tatlong buwan lang, makikita mo na, right? So, that's one challenge, yung institutional, no? Na because of yung 3-year term of office lang, yung mga public officials natin, and nakikita nga natin ito sa RDC, they tend to be uh, short term when it comes
Mm,
to development, no?
oo,
And of
plan.
course, isang challenge din, and I think this is the heavier one, is yung political culture natin, no, na patronage ang ating currency, no, pagdating sa politika. So, ang nangyayari nito, naglalabanan ang ating mga politicians instead nagtutulungan, no? So, alam natin na may rivalry ang Cavite at Batangas, right? So, napakahirap i-imagine na ang Batangas at Cavite ay magko-cooperate at the regional level, right? Kasi meron silang rivalry when it comes to politics, no? So, and that also is true with other regions. Sa Region 1, Region 2, and even to a certain extent sa Metro Manila, di ba? Nag-aaway na ngayon ng Makati at Taguig. So, yung political culture natin is also a challenge when it comes to trying to establish a regional governance mentality, no? Ang
Mm,
ating
mm.
mga politicians kasi, wala sa mentality nila yung tignan yung mas malawak na perspektibo, no? Sa kanila, ang iniisip nila is ano yung makakabuti para sa akin, no? So, yan ang mga challenges na nakikita ko when it comes to regional governance sa bansa natin, no? Merong institutional, meron ding cultural, particularly yung political culture natin.
Oo nga. Pero Noy, sa discussion mo, ang nakikita ko, napakaganda sana kung magbuklod-buklod, di ba? At talagang maipatupad natin ang konsepto ng regional governance. Kasi no political unit or even a city or ano ba itong province, etc., is an island unto itself, di ba? At makikita mo naman na talagang apektado kung anong nangyayari sa isang lugar doon sa kapitbahay niya. Like, tulad ng sinabi mo, kung may baha, hindi lang naman titigil yun sa isang probinsya. 'Di ba? Padaos-daos yung tubig na yan. Kung ano, it can cover also how many municipalities, etc. So, given na mga challenges na ito, sa tingin mo ba, dapat ba i-pursue pa natin ito? At paano natin magagawa ito?
Alam mo, Manguen, I think we have no choice but to pursue it, no? Kasi, I mean, kahit I think this is what pushed Tito Nene to advocate for federalism din, eh. And that is,
Mhm.
nakikita na niya na hindi na talaga pwede yung dating sistema na aasa na lang tayo sa local government, no? Kasi kung hindi tayo makakaasa sa local government, anong alternative nun? Aasa tayo sa central government. At magiging centralized tayo masyado. So, as a compromise, yung sino yung nasa gitna? Ang nasa gitna is the regional government, no? Or the regional governance infrastructure. So, I would say na kailangan natin to i-pursue. Now, paano? No? Now, it depends. It depends kung ano yung gusto natin ma-achieve. Obviously, kung gusto natin ng parang federal structure na yung mga regions ay may kanya-kanyang autonomy na rin, similar to what's happening in BARM now, kailangan natin amendahan ang ating constitution dyan, no? Kailangan
Mhm.
natin ng constitutional reform, no? Kung yun ang gusto natin ma-achieve, na yung mga rehiyon natin magkakaroon sila ng kapangyarihan na
Mhm.
talagang i-govern yung region nila. Pero kailangan natin yon pwede natin gawin yon through charter change, no? So
Mhm.
now, kung halimbawa talagang hindi tayo makausad, no, with charter change, no? Alam naman natin 'yan na very controversial and hindi tayo maka-move forward. Pwede naman natin gawin is legislative reform, no? So, ang unang-unang pwede mangyari diyan is to amend the local government code, no? Pwede natin gayahin to a certain extent yung Bangsamoro Organic Law para gayahin yung regional governance structure nila. Hindi natin pwede bigyan ng otonomiya 'yon, no? Obviously kasi hindi siya akma sa constitution natin. Pero pwede natin i-modify na palakasin ng kaunti yung regional development councils para bigyan naman natin ng saysay yung regional governance infrastructure natin ngayon, no? Maaari natin ma-achieve yan through the amendment of the local government code. So right now merong mga moves yung ating mga mambabatas, for example yung Negros Island Regional Administrative Region. These are good efforts, no? But very parang nire-repeat lang niya yung MMDA, nire-repeat lang niya yung CAR, yung Cordillera Administrative Region, no? So you're just enacting something na wala naman talaga siya magiging impact when it comes to regional governance. So if we really want to achieve regional governance without amending the constitution, we have to amend the local government code in the way that we try to emulate, not copy verbatim or adopt completely, but emulate kung ano yung nakalagay sa Bangsamoro Organic Law. Something similar, something close to that.
Short of giving them full autonomy. Like farm.
That's right.
Now.
That's a better way to put it. No, short of giving them autonomy, which we cannot do kasi nga sa ating saligang batas.
Unless, of course, we go to the next step, which is to amend our constitution and make ourselves a federal country.
That's right.
Diba?
Yeah, yan. That's kumbaga, yan yung dream natin na when we achieve some kind of autonomy for the regions, then we can really call ourselves a federal country na.
Okay. But in the meantime, as you were pointing out kanina, if we do not get to amend the constitution, we can still opt for having a stronger regional governance by actually amending the local government code, di ba? Yun yung sinasabi mo. And giving more powers to the regional governance council, probably, di ba? It can be a way.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is not an impossible dream pala.
It is not, no? So, siguro I would just like to add, no, na even yung legislative reform perspective, pwede rin tayong diyan yung maging very deliberative, no, or very deliberate rather, na yung mga regions na tingin natin that they can stand on their own, pwede sila yung pwede natin bigyan ng kapangyarihan short of autonomy, no? Whereas yung mga regions na talagang, and I'm talking about Calabarzon, Region 3, yung Pampanga, kasi ano na yan sila in effect, para na nga rin silang NCR, di ba? Because they are economically very viable and vibrant, etc. So, in other words, what I'm trying to say is, when we try to create that regional governance structure, pwede tayong maging nuance, no, na hindi natin ibibigay sa lahat kasi hindi naman kaya ng iba . So, doon sa kaya na nila, doon sa may kaya na, pwede natin sila bigyan ng onting kapangyarihan, onting autonomy na hindi naman sila talaga magiging parang barb. so that kahit papaano napapractice natin. No? Napapractice natin na hopefully na we will reach a certain point na marirealize natin na kaya naman pala natin, then we might as well transform into a federal system.
Kasi nga by having even the local government code, we have actually realized na maraming kaya ng mga probinsya, munisipyo, cities, di ba? Na kaya nila ang sarili nila. So this is a first step, yung local government, and then we can move on. Kasi hindi lang naman yan, it's not cast in stone, di ba? So I think this discussion is worth pursuing, and I hope that more local government officials will be interested in learning more about regional governance. Okay, so any last words, Noy, na pwede natin sabihin sa ating mga tagapakinig?
That's right, no? So just to take off from what you said, na right now yung local government code is like, we can look at it as the first step, no? And the second step now is for our local governments to start collaborating and cooperating with each other. No, yun na yung second step kasi nga hindi na pwedeng kanya-kanya And by the way, that is allowed under the 1987 Constitution, no? Ang nakakapagpigil lang diyan talaga is our political culture. And we can go beyond that. We can overcome that. So the second step now, the step that we should be taking is for our local governments to cooperate and collaborate. And that can be done through a regional governance structure similar to the RDCs. Kailangan lang natin talagang palakasin.
Okay, so with that positive note, maraming tayong dapat gawin at I'm sure excited na rin ang ating mga local officials kasi they know that they have the power as of now with the local government code to really work together as one whole nation, di ba? So, thank you, Attorney Michael Henry Yusinko at from PILG Fed Talk. Salamat and see you again.
Good governance does not depend on the governors alone, but also on the government.